You know, when you think about the AI revolution, all the chatbots, the incredible image generators, all these scientific breakthroughs, have you ever stopped to ask what's actually powering it all? Well, it turns out it all runs on something, and most of the time that something comes from just one company, NVIDIA. Today we're going to unpack how this tech giant went from being on the verge of total collapse to literally building the engine of our future. Okay, let's get into it. To get a sense of just how huge NVIDIA is, you have to look at this number. By late 2025, the company's value on the stock market soared past $5 trillion. I mean, that is more than the entire economy of almost any country on Earth. It's a number that puts them in a completely different stratosphere, a true titan of the modern world. But here's the truly wild part of the story. This $5 trillion behemoth, it wasn't born in some futuristic lab or a fancy Silicon Valley boardroom. Nope, the whole idea was cooked up in a booth at a Denny's diner. So the big question is, how on earth did they get from a Denny's to, well, this? That's the story we're gonna tell. All right, let's rewind the clock. We're going back to the 90s. The world of computing was an absolute battlefield. And NVIDIA was just this tiny startup with a really big idea, basically fighting for its life from the moment it was born. So in 1992, you have three engineers meeting at that now legendary Denny's. They have this vision for a new kind of computing, all based on graphics. They scraped together $40,000 and started the company. But man, those early days were brutal. Their very first chip was a total flop. And then came a crushing blow. They lost a make-or-break contract for the Sega Dreamcast. And losing that Sega deal wasn't just some minor setback. For them, it was an extinction-level event. The company was bleeding cash, they had to lay off more than half of their employees. They were, and this is not an exaggeration, about a month away from having to shut down for good. In fact, this became the unofficial motto inside the company. The CEO, Jensen Huang, would apparently start meetings with those exact words. It created this intense culture of survival, this constant reminder that nothing was ever guaranteed and that every single decision could be their last. But you know how these stories go. Out of that crisis came a pivot that would change, well, everything. The company decided to make a massive bet, not just on a new product, but on a whole new way of thinking. A bet that decades later would accidentally make them the undisputed king of AI. So after those early failures, NVIDIA regrouped, and in 1999, they launched the GeForce 256. Now, this is absolutely crucial. They were the first ones to ever market a chip as a GPU, a graphics processing unit. It was built to do one thing really, really well: handle the crazy, complex math needed for video games, way better than a standard computer chip could. And then came the real leap of faith. Throughout the 2000s, NVIDIA poured over $1 billion and a solid decade into developing a software platform called CUDA. Now, this was a completely wild gamble. Everybody at the time thought that standard processors, CPUs, would just get faster and faster forever. So why would anyone ever need to program a graphics chip to do anything about graphics? NVIDIA was betting against the entire industry, just pouring money into unlocking their GPUs for a problem that didn't really exist yet. It was a billion-dollar solution in search of a problem. So why was this so important? Well, think about it like this. A CPU, the standard chip in your computer, is like a really smart general manager. It can handle a few very complex jobs, but it has to do them one after another. A GPU, on the other hand, is like a massive army of workers. It can do thousands and thousands of simpler tasks all at the exact same time, in parallel. And as it turns out, that is the perfect way to train an AI model. And that brings us to the moment where NVIDIA's long, lonely, and really expensive gamble on parallel computing finally met its destiny. The AI explosion was just around the corner, and NVIDIA had, without even fully knowing it, built the perfect engine for it. This right here is the Big Bang moment. In 2009, AI researchers had a massive breakthrough. They figured out that if they used NVIDIA's GPUs with that CUDA software, they could train their AI models 100 times faster. 100 times! All of a sudden, NVIDIA wasn't just a gaming company anymore. They held the key that would unlock the future of artificial intelligence. And the result of that discovery? It was just staggering. By 2025, NVIDIA controlled a whopping 80% of the entire market for AI chips. They had the hardware, they had the software, and they had a decade-long head start on literally everyone else. Their dominance was almost total. The financial world definitely took notice. As generative AI exploded into the mainstream, NVIDIA's value just went stratospheric. I mean, it took them decades to reach $1 trillion in 2023, but then it took only about a year to hit $3 trillion, and then just a few more months to smash right through $5 trillion. The speed of that climb is unlike almost anything we've ever seen in business history. So, what does it actually mean for one single company to have this much power? NVIDIA isn't just shaping what happens in data centers anymore, they're shaping our physical world. And all of that influence, well, it brings a whole new set of pretty serious challenges. And make no mistake, NVIDIA's ambition goes way beyond just powering chatbots. They're developing the brains for humanoid robots, building the central computers for self-driving cars, and creating AI platforms to dramatically speed up drug discovery and healthcare. They're literally aiming to become the foundation for the next wave of technology in pretty much every major industry you can think of. But you know how it goes. When you become this essential, this powerful, it inevitably puts a giant target on your back. NVIDIA's dominance has not gone unnoticed by competitors, by its own customers, and maybe most importantly, by governments all around the world. Their own success has created a new set of high-stakes problems. They're facing antitrust investigations in the US over their market power. They are right at the center of geopolitical tensions, trying to navigate these super strict American rules on selling advanced chips to China. And of course, they're a key voice in the massive global debate over how to regulate AI safely and responsibly. So, from a Denny's diner to a $5 trillion company, NVIDIA's journey is this incredible story of survival, of making gigantic bets and having just perfect timing. They built the tools that are now building our future. And that leaves all of us with a really fundamental question. As one company builds the engine of tomorrow, who really gets to decide where we're all going?